Welcome to the Astrocast for May 4th through the 10th, where I help you be fully yourself by creating a life that proves it. I'm your host, Teresa Ann, and I help you feel seen by the stars because we are spirit and space dust. And as above, so below, what's happening out there can help us to understand how we're feeling and how we're being directed as we orient through life in here. All right, we are in the month of May, so I'll give you a quick overview of May and then we'll dive into the week. So in May, these next 4 weeks, we are going to see Taurus season moving into Gemini season. We're going to have a new moon in Taurus and on May 16th, and then toward the end of the month, we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius. And if we've been doing the inner work and we're aligned, when that full moon hits in Sagittarius, we will be at an arrival point. So if we're clear on our intentions, who we are, what we're wanting to create in our lives, and we're living in alignment with our thoughts, words, and actions, we will get to an arrival point. We will render out here, and see what we're desiring in here, if we're soul aligned. All right, also a biggie coming up in May is going to be Mars conjunct Chiron. Mars about action, Mars about mission, what we stand for, what motivates and drives us. If we've done the inner work on our personal hero's journey to have the universal wound that we each carry as individuals, so our own individual sacred wound that we're here to alchemize, if we've done the work of understanding the medicine or the magic behind that wound, because we've healed ourselves and we're able to help others, if we've done that, then our medicine or magic will become our mission. Okay, so let's get into May 4th through 10th. All right, our mantra of the week is trust the unseen. Because if we've been in alignment and we've been clear with our intentions and sending out the thoughts with our electro and then having our feelings be the magnet that's bringing what we truly desire, right? We're bringing something into form, and that'll be happening all month. All month will be a rite of passage so that by the end of the month, we should see a very different life if we're choosing to consciously create and manifest by the end of the month. And each week is a rite of passage. And if you've been following, you know that part of my human design and part of my own birth chart, destiny, story, map, service, contribution that I'm here to share in the world to help people be fully themselves by creating a life that proves it, is that this is not just a forecast like a meteorologist would use, right? Not just a sky map that we use to look at the outer astro weather, but it is a bridge. It is a literal bridge, a portal of becoming, a bridge for what it is you are manifesting. So we're starting here at the beginning of the week as one version of ourselves, and we will end the week as another version of ourselves if we've used this bridge to evolve our consciousness, to raise our awareness, and then allow that to bring us into being. So if we're using this actively, what will happen, even if we don't understand the language, even if we're not fluent in the vocabulary yet, just by listening to the takeaways, because I've already done the work for you, right? You don't have to understand the zodiac signs and the planets, right? This is a language immersion. Astrology is a tool for decoding and orienting and navigating and manifesting if we know the language. So I've already decoded and translated for you, not out of fear-based lens, not out of a political lens, not out of a lens for stocks and investments, because different astrologers will focus on different purposes and niches. mine, self-actualization, and manifesting your life's purpose and the life you're here for. So if that's you, this is for you, okay? Yes, there will be ways to deepen in the work, to develop your vocabulary, to understand yourself more fully, to be able to go in your charts and figure out where some clues are here so that you can personalize this. Yes, all of that I will tell you how to get to at the end. But for now, let's look at this bridge, this sky map that will help us orient. All right, we're starting on Monday and ending on Sunday with a big Jupiter moment. Jupiter, key word, key frequency word, expansion. Okay, now in kindergarten, first grade, when teachers are just starting to, are helping their children in their classes to read, we look at high frequency words. We look at words that are frequently seen and frequently used. And in astrology, I'm doing the same thing. I'm bringing a high level concept down to elementary. As the former elementary school teacher and assistant principal I have been in a past life a few decades ago. Okay, so Jupiter, the planet of expansion. So get this, at the beginning of the week and the end of the week, right? We're sandwiched in expansion. So if we have our thoughts, our words, and our actions not aligned, not living what we're feeling is correct for us, or aligned or right in our nervous system, in our heart, in our soul, we're going to be expanding stuff we don't want to expand, right? So let's tune in and let's look for some things that can help us. So at the beginning of the week, we start with the moon in Sagittarius. We're trusting where we're being aimed. Sagittarius is a pioneering kind of spirit. It's an adventurous, maybe even forge your own path kind of energy. It's exploration. So we're in that in the beginning of the week. And a lot of times we don't have the map planned out. We don't know the destination because we're forging it as we go. It's almost like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, but we don't know what the cover looks like because we're creating that picture as we go. We have an idea, a sense, but we're letting go of the outcome so that we can bring the best scenarios to us and match that up on the out there with the in here. So we're starting off with that kind of energy, that Sag energy. And in that, on that day, today, we have Mars squaring Jupiter, a square. There's tension, creative tension, right? That's not a bad thing. Tension needs to happen, right? It holds the tension rods together that keep a curtain intact, right? Sexual tension, there's other ways we know, like sexual tension, like something wants to happen here. And we're kind of feeling the rub, All right, and so the boldest version of us is what we're feeling. We're feeling that Mars energy, that, again, action, the drive, the motivation. What are we driven to live? It's been speaking to us. And last week we had a full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio went deep. It brought truth up. Ooh, truth bumps. So if you got your nervous system talking to you, or your feelings, something has come up and said, girl, this isn't it anymore, or like, it's time to move on, or like, we can't be doing this anymore, or, oh, this is where we really want to be going, something like that, right? That bold, really true part of ourselves that maybe we're not fully being, or maybe we are feeling like we're being it, but the experiences or relationships or jobs or work or environments out here aren't quite matching what we're feeling would be really the life we're here to live, right? So like that boldness, that is what is coming out at the beginning of the week, wanting to be heard, wanting to be listened to as we move forward in our week. It's asking for more room. It's wanting to expand. that part of us that wants to experience a certain kind of work or daily, however we go through our day, just our rituals, the way we move through space in a day, what it looks like, right? Our relationships, whatever. It wants room to expand. And so if our life is filled with some things that aren't it, then the expansion can't happen because it's filled with the it, right? Or our energy is giving attention to that stuff, right? Mars is also, it's the planet sign that's got the little pointing direction out, right? Like, where is it directing its energy? It wants you to direct its energy to where you really want things to go, where you want your life to go. And sometimes that means creating space by letting some things go. And that's what we did at that full moon. All right, so Mars squares Jupiter. The boldest version of you is asking for more room. Give it the room. Then we move into Tuesday, Mars Day. We had Moon Day on Monday. Tuesday's Mars Day. We have Capricorn happening. So now we're sliding from Sagittarius into Capricorn. So we're going from the arrow to the mountain we're building, to the putting the pieces together this week. So now we'll be able to move into that energy. We've been feeling like we maybe want to course correct, feeling like we're wanting to bring something into fruition. And so now is the time in these days of Capricorn, 3 days of that, the moon moves through a zodiac sign in 2.5 days. And that's a time of like mastering or putting the pieces together or learning what it is that wants to be pieced out, right? And then on Tuesday, we have Mercury sextile, which means, you know, it's juicy, it's flowing. Sextile, it's a good harmonious chemistry between Mercury, the planet of messages, communication, and our North Node, destiny. All right, so when we put some fluency words together here, and again, when we're talking about these words, all of these words show up in a frequency. If we are showing up in the lower frequencies of these characteristics or archetypes, we're going to manifest and experience a life at the lower frequencies. If we can embody and envision and trust and live at the higher frequencies, then as we're crossing the bridge, becoming who we're going to become to manifest the life that we want, then it's going to be a reflection of the higher frequencies, right? So Mercury, are we communicating like off the cuff quick, you know, maybe not thinking about what we say, or are we listening to thought tracks in our mind that are fear-based, or maybe they're not the highest serving, right? So we want to really look at our communication, our messages in the outside world, what we speak, but then also like our like being impeccable with our words, but also what are the stories? Am I attached to story, or like what are the thoughts in here? If we can have them be good match to our highest destiny, North Node is in Pisces. The North Node is our nodes. We have a South Node and a North Node out there. And they're not planets. They're not celestial bodies. They're points. And they are where the moon, the longest path on the moon's elliptical. It's like where the eclipses happen. So that's why we've been having eclipses in Pisces, Virgo, Pisces, Virgo, Pisces, Virgo. And then we switched somewhat recently, and now we're moving into some of those being Leo, Aquarius. But we're still rounding out some of the time that the moon is in the Pisces North Node. Well, Pisces is about our dreams, our visions, and manifesting those into reality, dissolving the space between the vision and reality so that we can bring that mystical idea into actual fruition. So are our thoughts and words and communications and messages aligned to our highest destiny? So the breakdown that I'm giving you so that you don't have to do the work, and if you have a printed out sheet, you can get one of those. You can just see the takeaway that I've given you and not even listen to all of this. What you say today is pointing you toward your destiny. Speak with intention. Think with intention too. All right, Wednesday, we have Mercury Day. Again, Capricorn. We're keeping on with what we're building, making it real, what we really want. And we have Pluto stationing in retrograde. So what that just means is the planets don't actually move backwards, but they give an appearance that they do. A really easy way to think about retrograde is the RE prefix. Retrograde. Retro. Review. Revise, right? Recycle. So we can take a moment and think back. What has my vision been? What is it that I want to manifest? And we can revisit it to get clear. Let me get up to date with myself, right? We go into a recycled shop or a retro place where they have like retro clothing, let's say vintage place. You're like kind of like going down memory lane, or like you might be like, oh, I want to take this piece. Oh, I want to take this piece, right? Or maybe I'm going to reuse and recycle and give some things away. I'm going to take some new things. So it's just this time to like think about or bring into life all those RE kinds of words, because transformation was always an inside job. So we're doing some reflecting inside. We're reviewing, recycling, renewing, just doing like a check-in, so to speak, right? As we are Pluto regenerating. We're doing that in Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign of an individual, being an individual, but who also is serving or looking at the big picture of the greatest outcomes for all of humanity, right? So there's some harmony there. Okay, next we're moving into Jupiter Day, which is Thursday. We're still on Capricorn, so we're devoting to that path. We're walking our walk and creating what we're creating, an inside job, so that we can render that on the outside in our reality. On Friday, Venus Day, great day for some self-love, maybe a little romance with yourself or others, getting together with even loved ones, friends. All right, we go from, we're also moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Pluto was just in Aquarius, we talked about. So we're continuing that vibe. We're going from devotion to liberation. Aquarius likes with that individuality and that humanity. It really likes differentiation, like being your unique self, being your individual that is free. So we're really wanting to be free to be ourselves and create the life that we want to be living. And then on Saturday, Saturn Day, a day about, you could think of it as discipline or putting pieces together or learning, putting steps together. Kind of sounds a lot like Capricorn, right? It does. Capricorn and Saturn are matchy-matchy. They're twins, right? So every getting into our fluency, right? Every planet and every zodiac sign have a matchy twin. And basically that just means they have the same energies. It makes it easier to learn. So 12 zodiac signs, then all those planets plus sun, moon, And so you would think we have to learn all of that, but we kind of don't. If we just learn the zodiac sign, we'll know which planet or luminary that they match with, and now it kind of cuts the learning down to half. So Saturn Day, same characteristics as Capricorn. And the idea on that Saturn Day in Aquarius is you never meant to fit the mold, right? So if you're finding yourself in a box, if you're finding yourself doing the thing that you are doing what you need to do to get by and do the things and live the life, but you're really feeling ready for a change, to help you really support being more the individual you are on your own path. This is a day that you're probably going to feel those kinds of themes come up. These are just the natural cycles and rhythms and phases that are happening out there. So they may support us in here. And we may feel those kinds of things kind of activating. All right, you are never meant to fit the mold, right? So as you're creating your life, as you're aligning your thoughts and beliefs, right? What is your destiny? Who are you to be here, right? As you create the life that proves it. We end the week with the last quarter moon. So what that means is last week toward the end on Friday, we had a full moon. We had brought some things into fruition, and now we're bringing that down, and we're looking at, okay, let me break down the pieces of where I was at and I'm looking at what's working well, what's aligned, what am I keeping, what am I letting go of, right? We're releasing what was never yours to carry in the first place, right? As we're gonna keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that until we get to a new moon, and then we'll start some new intentions in the cycle, and we'll do the same thing. New intentions that will seed, and then we'll build them, build them, build them, build them to the first quarter moon. Then we'll get to the new moon and see what we've got, see what we've created, and then we'll start bringing that down into like, let me dissect those pieces and go back to the next cycle. All right, release what was never yours to carry. Then we round out the week on Sunday, Sunday, a day for basking. Basking in what? We go from liberation to surrender because we're moving from Aquarius to now Pisces. So we're basking in our dreams. We're basking in the freedom that can come from surrendering to our dreams, right? So we're intending, we're building, we're becoming who we need to be that version of ourselves, and we're surrendering it, not forcing it, not trying to control what's happening so much, but allowing, as we trust the unseen, allowing the pieces so to come in. So we're walking with mindfulness through our week, and we're noticing what's happening, the synchronicities, the things that come in, the ideas, the intuition. Because if we've been aligned this week, we're noticing our intuition, maybe our a vision that we have, an idea that comes. Maybe it's a knowing, maybe it's a sensing, maybe it's listening to the nervous system. Or if you follow human design, you're using your inner authority so you can make your decisions and discern what feels aligned for you. But we're surrendering to allow it to happen. We might notice by now the ego saying, ooh, let's just stay the same. Let's just say stay comfortable. We might have some fearful ideas like, oh my gosh, I can't quit the job, or oh, do I take that new job, or like, oh, do I make a change in this relationship, or oh, do I put myself out there in this way, or oh, do I make this change, right? Because like, ooh, it's scary becoming more real sometimes, and living the life that we feel like we're here to live, because our old identity is speaking up at this point, right? And like, what will other people think? I'll be different with my family. I'll be different with my friends. Be bold, the universe is saying, right? The boldest version of you is asking you to give it the room it needs to be, because then it will be caught up. You will be caught up in real time, right? IRL, you'll get to see the manifestations coming into place, right? And on that day, we end with Jupiter. We began with a Jupiter, and we're going to end with Jupiter. The sun in Taurus, long game, steadfast. What do you want to be able to keep long haul, right? You want it. It feels so aligned that it would have staying power, right? You value it. That is Taurus. So the sun is in Taurus, so it's got that kind of energy, sextile in a harmonious union with Jupiter, planet of expansion. So it wants to expand that stuff. And it's in Cancer a little while longer. It's been there for a minute, over a year. Jupiter in Cancer, Cancer being self-care, nourishment, nurturing. Your life and the way you live it is the ultimate act of self-care, not a 10-minute routine in the morning and at night. The ultimate self-care, living the life you're fully here to live. That is what's going on. The universe is opening a door. You don't have to force it. You just have to walk through it when the things come up that are yours. Okay? So that is what our week is looking like. If you've been following along, you know that there are powerful questions of each week. And as a professional life coach, I know the power of a powerful question. And a powerful question is going to be an open-ended question that starts with things like who, what, where, when, those kinds of things. And so I curate 3 powerful questions, and I do so by picking the 3 transits or transportations, movements out there going on, the 3 most powerful ones from my point of view, with my lens aligned to my purpose, which is helping you be fully you and create the life you feel you're here to live, right? Even more than that, it's because I truly believe that when you're being your true authentic self, you do contribute to the world. That's your purpose, right? We have been trained to try to figure out what does that look like? And we have a money system right now, so it's like, how do we do all this? And there's a lot of pieces, right? So I give you 3 questions that correlate with 3 of these transits. And if you are a person who receives them, you'll receive the questions the way that you do. If you're listening to this to a place, you might look down below and see a link to a page that will have these powerful questions. And some have requested that along with each question, I do list the astrological points so you know what the question is correlating to. And I've listed those too. So you will get those. They look kind of like this. All right. So the first question this week is, where is your boldness asking for direction? What is ready to surface from within you? Where is the universe opening a door for you? Right? Now, you might not know what's behind that door, and you might not see the door, but if your nervous system or your intuition or something is speaking, your body's speaking, your future self and your future might be knocking on that door. And it's up to you to let some things go, to give it the room to have an opening so you can step into that new reality. If you want to go deeper, you can find some hints at the bottom of the page that will point to some places in your own birth chart and in your human designer gene key so that you can go further. And what we have on tap this week is look up your conscious sun gate in human design. This is the soul essence you're here to lead your life and your work with. The sun is shining a light on that right now while Jupiter activates its expansion. The essence of you and the gift of who you are. Jupiter is activating it, so you could go read about it. Conscious sun, that's the one on the right side of your human design chart, and it kind of looks like a circle with a dot in the middle. Second one, find your transiting Jupiter in Cancer. What that means is when you're looking at your birth chart, you toggle to look at transit, not just birth. In the middle, or the circle that's in the most inner part, you'll see a bunch of planets, and then you'll also see an outer ring of planets. You're looking for the Cancer symbol, which looks like this, kind of a sideways 6 and 9. And you'll look to see what house is that in. It's in Cancer for everybody, but you'll look and see the little pieces of pizza pie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 12. What is yours? That area of life might want your attention. It might be what part of life is wanting to expand the most. And know that it's been there for over a year. We're going to be moving, Jupiter will be moving into Leo soon. I don't remember when that is, but I believe it's June. So I think we got another month of what wants to expand around nourishing ourselves and care at that house, that area of your life. And then starting June for over a year, we'll be in Leo, and that will be another area of your life that will want that kind of expansion. Except we'll go from self-care and nourishment, kind of being a flavor that wants to be sprinkled into that area of life. We'll go into Leo. Leo would be like lead character vibes in your life, shining as yourself, letting your radiance and brilliance shine, making your life up the way you want to. That starts in June for about 18 months. That's the area of your life that will want to be expanding. All right, the third is, where is your natal Jupiter? So then on the inside planets that are showing, not the outside ring that's the transits, but then the inside one, see where your Jupiter is, right? We know in the outside ring, it's Jupiter's in Cancer right now, but in your birth chart, the inner circle, where is your natal Jupiter? Because the house it lives in will reveal where abundance and opportunity flow to you most naturally. Again, Jupiter kind of looks like a two, with a line through it. All right, when the learning portal, the community online learning portal is open, we'll have lots of cheat sheets where you can just go and check a cheat sheet that has all the planets and their meanings, all the zodiac signs and their meanings, and all sorts of other resources. So I am compiling, while you guys are listening to these in beta test mode, compiling the kinds of things that you want in there. And I've been listening and working really hard behind the scenes. So next I will say this: if you have questions, message me, send them to me either in the comments below, wherever you're finding this video, or message me direct. If you're beta testing and you're seeing this, you know places that you can do that. Otherwise, do it right wherever you found this video. You may ask me to put your chart up on the screen on my live. We have kind of a study session, office hours call, where I run that live on Wednesdays at noon Central Time. You don't have to be there live. You can throw your questions my way. I'll read your chart live. Or if you want to get into some hot seat coaching, I call it soul seat coaching, and you want me to coach your higher self, we'll bypass you. We'll just coach your soul direct. We'll coach your higher self direct if you want. Ask any question you want about what's going on this week in this bridge, this portal to becoming, this bridge of manifestation. Stay high on the frequency level of all of these, meaning don't show up on ego level if you don't want to manifest on ego level, right? We're showing up at the higher level, and all of the things here are spoken in that way, right? All right, be well, my friends, and we'll see you next week.